A change is moving closer. You can feel it, like the air before a summer storm. On August 16th, the moon will enter Gemini, and for 2 days the ground beneath your thoughts will shift. This is not just another date on a calendar. It is a turning point for the mind, a moment where your inner dialogue can be rewritten. Most will treat it as an ordinary weekend. They will miss the subtle signs, the quiet openings, the rare clarity that comes when the moon's light passes through Gemini's lens. But you will not. In these hours, conversation becomes more than words. It becomes a mirror. Your ideas will travel faster. Your emotions will change direction without warning. This is the nature of Gemini, restless, curious, always reaching for the next horizon. Yet within that movement lies a hidden danger, the mind scattering in 1,000 directions, chasing without arriving. My role is to show you how to stand in the center of that motion, calm, clear, unshakable. In this teaching, you will learn 7 principles rooted in Shaolin discipline, mindfulness, and the mastery of thought. You will see how to guard your attention so it is never stolen, how to speak with precision so your words create harmony instead of chaos, and how to ride this wave of change without losing your balance. Stay until the end, and you will walk away with more than knowledge. You will leave with a practice, a way to use this astrological shift as a weapon for growth, instead of letting it pass like a forgotten wind. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If you value self-mastery and ancient wisdom, subscribe now and walk with us into this new chapter. A single word can build a bridge or burn one to ash. In my years of training, I have seen warriors brought low, not by an opponent's strike, but by the careless release of their own tongue. When the moon moves into Gemini, the weight of words grows heavier, though they may seem lighter. The mind moves quickly, the tongue follows, and before we have seen the shape of our thought, it has already left our mouth. Gemini's energy sharpens the blade of speech. Ideas come fast, connections spark, and the urge to share them feels irresistible. But a sharper blade demands steadier hands. In Shaolin practice before striking, we breathe. We allow stillness to guide the movement. This is how you must approach your words in these days. Breathing before speaking, sensing their true impact before they leave you. Long ago, I trained with an elder who rarely spoke. When he did, his voice would still the courtyard. I once asked him why he was so silent. He told me, every word is an arrow. Some pierce, some guide, some return to strike the one who released them. I only fire when I know the target. His lesson stayed with me. In this Gemini shift, you may feel cleverness rising, ready to impress or win a point. But wisdom is not measured by how quickly you speak. It is shown in how deeply your words resonate after they are heard. Let your speech be a reflection of your inner discipline. Choose words that do not just describe reality, but help shape it into something worthy. In this way, you do not simply communicate, you create. The world will always invite you to speak before you are ready. Opinions, noise, the pull to answer quickly, it is endless. But in the Shaolin way, the first conversation is never with others. It is with yourself. Before a word is spoken, attention must be gathered. Like a lamp whose light has scattered into 100 directions, the mind must be drawn back into one clear flame. This is not about silence for its own sake. It is about listening, truly listening to the place where thought begins. When you know where your attention rests, you can choose where to place it next. Without this, words become leaves blown by the wind, carried by whatever current passes through. There is an old teaching, control your mind, and you control the world. It does not mean to dominate thought by force. It means to know the pathways your mind walks, so you are not led astray by them. In training, we would stand for hours in stillness before beginning any movement, not to waste time, but to let the body and mind settle into the same rhythm. Only from that stillness could action flow with precision. In the same way, turning inward before you speak gives your words weight and clarity. You notice if they come from impatience or from understanding. You sense whether they will heal or harm. And most importantly, you free yourself from speaking just to fill space. When the moon passes through Gemini and thoughts rush in like a river, the temptation to speak without pausing will be strong. But mastery is not in speed, it is in direction. Where you place your attention decides not only the quality of your words, but the shape of your life. There is a kind of energy that feels like a fresh wind, restless, playful, eager to move in every direction at once. This is the pulse of Gemini. It can lift you, carry you, open doors you did not know were there. But without guidance, it can also scatter you, leaving many beginnings and few completions. In the old monasteries, there was a rule. No matter how you felt, certain tasks were done each day without fail. Sweeping the courtyard, drawing water, tending the fire. These were not just chores, they were anchors. They taught that discipline is not a cage, but a steady hand on the tiller of a boat. It allows you to ride the wind without being blown off course. Gentle discipline is different from hard resistance. Resistance locks you in battle with your own nature. Discipline, when practiced with calm, works with the flow of energy, guiding it toward what matters. It is like a farmer shaping the path of water to nourish the fields instead of letting it flood aimlessly. When the mind is quick and moods shift, the temptation is to follow every impulse. But clarity means knowing the difference between motion and progress. You can move all day and go nowhere, or you can take a few deliberate steps and reach something real. So in these lively days, choose the few things that truly matter. Give them your attention, even if the mood changes. You will find that action taken in this way feels lighter, because it does not fight the wind, it rides it. In this way, you use the momentum of Gemini as fuel, not as a storm that sweeps you away. There comes a moment in training when you realize the weight you carry is not on your back but in your mind. Old beliefs, old stories, words you once accepted as truth, now quietly shaping the way you see yourself. Gemini's passage opens a door in that wall. It offers a chance to step beyond the familiar patterns and see with new eyes. In the temple, a student once asked why he could not progress despite years of effort. The master handed him a cup already filled to the brim and began to pour tea into it. The tea spilled over. "You are this cup," the master said. "Until you empty it, nothing new can enter." Letting go is not loss, it is making space. Limiting beliefs are often disguised as safety. They are the rules we made in moments of fear or failure, thinking they would protect us. But what protects can also confine. When the moon moves through Gemini, the mind becomes more fluid, more willing to question. This is the time to ask, is this belief helping me grow or keeping me small? Releasing a narrative does not mean erasing the past. It means seeing it clearly, without letting it dictate your present. In Shaolin practice, each stance is built fresh, no matter how many times it has been done before. The body remembers, but the mind approaches as if for the first time. If you are willing, this is the moment to loosen your grip on who you think you are. Let the mind explore new paths. Let curiosity guide you to places your old story never allowed. In doing so, you are not abandoning yourself. You are meeting a truer version of who you've always been. There is a freedom in not knowing. In the early days of practice, every movement feels alive. Every lesson feels like a discovery. This is the beginner's mind, not ignorance, but openness. It is the willingness to meet each moment without the weight of assumption. Over time, skill can become a trap. The more you think you know, the more you stop truly seeing. A seasoned swordsman may miss a subtle shift in his opponent's stance because he assumes he already understands the fight. A monk who has walked the same garden path for years may stop noticing the way the light falls through the leaves. Familiarity dulls perception. The beginner's mind cuts through that dullness. It is sharp, alert, curious. It does not cling to yesterday's answers. In Shaolin teaching, a form is never perfected. Each time you step into it, it is as if you are seeing it for the first time. The breath feels different. The ground beneath your feet holds a new texture. Even the air carries a slightly different weight. When the moon moves into Gemini, it stirs mental agility, making it easier to shift perspective. This is the time to loosen the hold of "I already know." Approach your relationships, your work, even your own thoughts as though they are strangers you are meeting for the first time. Ask new questions. Notice details you have overlooked. The beginner's mind is not about erasing what you have learned. It is about letting learning stay alive. When you see with fresh eyes, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The world reveals more to those who are willing to be surprised, and in that openness, new possibilities quietly unfold. In the temple, great strength was never built in a single day. It came from 1,000 small acts, repeated with care, rising before the sun, holding a stance until the legs shook, sweeping the same courtyard every morning, not because it was dirty, but because the practice shaped the one who swept. Shaolin teaching holds that tiny commitments carry great power. They bypass the resistance that often rises when change feels too large. A single deliberate action is like a drop of water striking stone. It may seem small, but over time it carves deep and lasting channels. Many believe transformation requires grand gestures, dramatic decisions, or sudden breakthroughs, but in truth, the mind resists such shocks. What it welcomes is rhythm, small, steady patterns that slowly rewire thought and behavior. The discipline of taking one intentional step each day builds a kind of quiet momentum. It doesn't draw attention, but it cannot be stopped. I once trained alongside a young student who struggled to master even the simplest form. Each evening, he practiced for only 5 minutes before rest. Others trained for hours and mocked his small effort. Yet months later, his movements became smooth, balanced, alive. His secret was not time, it was constancy. The body trusted the pattern and skill took root. During Gemini's quick and restless energy, the mind will want to leap from one task to another. Anchor it with a small commitment, something so clear and so manageable that you can do it every day without fail. In time, those small actions will grow roots, and like the quiet growth of a tree, they will hold you steady when the winds shift. In times when words travel quickly, it becomes tempting to speak for effect, to impress, to win approval, to appear certain, even when the heart is not. Gemini's influence makes the mind quick and the tongue even quicker, but speed is not the same as truth. In the old training halls, silence was not simply the absence of noise. It was a way to hear the alignment between thought and heart. Before speaking, a student would sit, breathing steadily, feeling whether the words they were about to offer came from the core or from the surface. This pause was not hesitation. It was respect for the self, for the listener, for the truth. When words come from alignment, they carry a different weight. They do not strain to be heard. They resonate naturally. A monk once told me, a single true sentence will last longer than 100 clever ones. This is because authenticity leaves a trace that performance cannot. To speak from alignment means allowing your words to be guided by your deepest values, even if they are simple, even if they are not the most polished. Performance seeks to control how others see you. Authentic speech reveals who you truly are. One feeds the image, the other feeds the soul. During this Gemini phase, the air will be full of conversation, debate, and exchange. It is easy to join the noise. Instead, practice the discipline of speaking less but saying more. Let your words rise from stillness, not pressure. When they leave you, let them be like an arrow shot from a steady bow, aimed with care, released with calm, and landing exactly where they are meant to be. In this way, communication becomes not just an exchange of sound, but an act of presence. Some energies move like a river in flood, restless, swirling, pulling you in many directions at once. Gemini carries this quality in the mind. Thoughts leap from one branch to another. Ideas spark and vanish. And before you know it, you have wandered far from where you began. This quickness can be a gift, but without an anchor, it can leave you scattered. Mindfulness is that anchor. It is the art of noticing when the mind has leapt ahead, when it has drifted into memory, when it is building stories instead of meeting the moment. The practice is simple. Return to the breath, or to the weight of your body, or to the sounds around you. Each return is like leading a spirited horse back to the path, firm but without force. In the temple, we would sometimes train in the courtyard while the market roared just beyond the walls. The sounds were many: voices, carts, animals, bells. The lesson was not to shut them out, but to hear them without being carried away. Each time the mind followed the noise, we would return to the stance, the breath, the feeling of the ground under our feet. Over time, distraction lost its grip. When you practice this during Gemini's shifting energy, you are not trying to slow the mind to stillness, you are learning to remain steady within its movement. Thoughts will still come and go. Ideas will still flicker, but you will not be pulled with every change. Anchor yourself in this way, and you can let Gemini's nimbleness serve you, not scatter you. The mind can move quickly, yet you remain where you are, clear, aware, unshaken. This is how speed and stillness can live together. Every belief you hold shapes the way you move through the world. In this Gemini moment, the mind is open, flexible, ready to explore new shapes. It is a rare window, one where you can choose to release the stories that have kept you small and plant the seeds of a truer self. The change does not have to be loud. It begins quietly in the way you speak to yourself, in the thoughts you allow to stay, in the ones you let go. This is the real power of Gemini. Not just thinking differently, but becoming different through the thoughts you choose to keep. So as you step into the days ahead, pause before you act, listen before you speak, and let your words and choices rise from the clearest part of you. Each small act of alignment writes a new page in your story. And if you keep writing with care, the life that unfolds will not be an accident, it will be your own creation. Thank you for sharing this time together. If the teachings here speak to you and you wish to walk deeper into the path of self-mastery, subscribe to our channel Shaolin Soulfire and join us for the next lesson. Until then, walk with clarity, speak with truth, and carry peace in each step.